In recent years, when we go small form factor, we've always had to lower the power limits of our CPUs to keep temps in check. There's simply no space for anything larger than a 280mm AIO cooler. Until now. This is the Corsair 2000D Airflow. It's not the smallest at almost 25 liters, but the real question is, can it handle the heat from an i7-13700K as well as an RTX 4070 not only for gaming, but also heavier productivity tasks? So you can either get the Corsair 2000D Airflow without the fans for 589 ringgit or pay $60 more for the RGB version right here that comes with 3 AF120 slim fans that are actually about $30 each, so it's sort of a buy two free one kind of deal. It comes in black or white and is made of plastic over a metal frame in a matte finish with very minimal branding. It might not be the smallest SFF case, but takes up surprisingly little desk space, which is very good for people who live in smaller spaces with smaller desks. Some might call it a little basic, but I must say that I do appreciate its basic aesthetics. The build quality is also pretty solid, except for the side meshes that can flex a little if you don't keep your cables in check. Being unconventionally tall for a small form factor case, this case actually has support for GPU lengths up to 365mm. However, even with their 3 expansion slot support, any modern RTX 4080 from third-party manufacturers like our RTX 4080 Strix will not actually fit. You can always go and hunt down an RTX 4080 or 90 Founders Edition that is super rare here in Malaysia, but they might actually work better being blower style cards. Or alternatively, use a last gen 3080 or 90 card that is almost always going to be about 3 slots wide. However, I personally recommend that you go for a smaller card like our Asus Dual RTX 4070 because it will give you a little bit more clearance in front of the card as well as on top for airflow and ultimately reduce the thermal load on the entire system. Speaking of airflow, you can actually fit up to 8 fans into this case, 3 at the front, 3 on the radiator bracket that is removable, and then 2 more where the GPU is if you use a single slot card. I left the 3 AF120 slim fans at the front in intake and then added a 360mm AIO cooler with the fans in exhaust. For the motherboard, like other SFF cases, the 2000D Airflow only supports mini ITX boards. We went for the ROG Z790i gaming Wi-Fi for that 10+1 stage power delivery to properly handle the i7-13700K for heavier loads like rendering. Also, having DDR5 support is more future-proof in a small build like this because you only get 2 slots and DDR5 RAM can go up to 128GB per DIMM. For now, we fitted in 32GB of Corsair Vengeance DDR5 memory rated at 6000MHz. One more thing you might care about is USB ports if you use this for work as well. This motherboard comes with a total of 9 ports. For storage, we went for a single stick of 2TB PCIe Gen 4 SSD, though this motherboard does come with 2 slots, one of which supports PCIe 5. If you want to add even more storage, the case does have 3 spots for 2.5-inch drives like a HDD or SATA SSD, but only 1 removable bracket. Kenapa? I don't know. You're gonna ask Corsair lah. In terms of power supply, the 2000D supports SFF or SFL power supplies. The cage is actually removable, but I didn't have to do that because even with a chunkier power supply like this Corsair SF1000L, you can just slide it right in and screw it in on top. Easy peasy. Before starting a build, I always recommend that people remove whatever panels they actually can. In this case, that includes the front, sides, as well as the top panel. Oh yeah, before I forget, the radiator bracket is also removable via 2 screws up here, and also the PSU bracket, like I said, 4 screws, 2 on top and 2 inside. You can even remove these fans at the front if you want, but I didn't because I already found it pretty easy to build with plenty of access, and I'm just too lazy to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 screws. See, faster at my calculation. Good Asian. Overall, the build was pretty effortless even when I fitted in this beefy 360mm AIO cooler as well as this graphics card. There's even plenty of space for you to route your cables as well as tie them for a pretty neat build, if I do say so myself. I only ran into 2 issues when it comes to the build. The minor one is the fact that they have these triangular cutouts at the back where the GPU is. While I do like the design of them, they can restrict the airflow a little bit when it comes to the GPU cooling. This might not be a big deal for mid and full towers, get it? But in a small build like this, every bit of airflow counts. The slightly more annoying issue that I had with this case is the fact that you will have to lie down the case, take out the cover at the bottom just to access the I/O ports every time you want to plug in your USB. So my solution is pretty simple. Either only use the front I/O or use a USB hub and then just stick it on the back of your case. Or if you have a motherboard like our ROG Strix Z790i gaming Wi-Fi, you can always use the Hive module to extend your I/O closer to your keyboard and mouse. To see if the 2000D actually lives up to its Airflow name, we tested it as is first and then removed all the panels and then tested it again. Looking at the temps with all the fans set to extreme mode, opening the case up dropped temperatures by just 2 to 3 degrees Celsius, which is actually pretty respectable. Seems like it's all good in the hood when it comes to airflow. The intake fans are pulling in enough cool air and the exhaust fans on the radiator are working properly to expel the heat, even with the open air cooler on our RTX 4070 dumping more heat into the system. Of course, if you cram in a bigger card or one with a different cooler design, your mileage may vary. Also, in terms of noise, when I set all these fans to the balance mode, which is what you would normally set them to, by just removing all the panels, you're getting just 1 decibel more in terms of fan noise, which is to be expected because this is an all meshed up case. We also ran 3 mark tests with the case all covered up versus naked, and the performance difference is actually pretty negligible. Overall, a system like this will be able to run less demanding AAA titles like Diablo 4 at 4K and more demanding titles like Starfield or Cyberpunk in 1440p unless you turn on FSR or DLSS, which will allow you to play in 4K as well. It also handles productivity tasks pretty well. With the 360mm AIO on that CPU, Cinebench scores are pretty good. Also in content creation workloads like those tested with Puget Bench, the numbers are also solid, and you can also use it for 3D work as well as seen with our Blender and V-Ray tests. To recap, here are the pros, cons, and cons of the Corsair 2000D Airflow. I give the Corsair 2000D Airflow a hashtag cheap buy. Pretty good airflow, looks quite nice. A little bit taller, 8 out of 10. So what do I think about this case? Well, the 2000D Airflow, in my opinion, is perfect for 2 types of people. Number 1, if you want enthusiast hardware like the 13th Gen i7 processor we have in here as well as the RTX 4070, and you don't want to build a mid or full tower but don't want to sacrifice on, performance, then this is a good one. Number 2, if you're somebody who is very difficult, you care about your desk space but you still want to display your gaming PC on your desk, then this is great because it has a very small footprint. If you are somebody who is arguing whether or not 25 liters will still qualify for a SFF case, then you probably shouldn't be looking at this one lah. And that is everything I have to say about the Corsair 2000D Airflow. If you thought this video was helpful, don't forget to like and share. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions regarding this tall boy. And also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell harder than you hit the gym. And follow us on Facebook, TikTok and Instagram to see more shenanigans from the Mob House crew. Again, my name is Bangsawan Shane and I will see you in the next one.